Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Walters here, and today we're talking more about our macro environmental factors and how they can affect your businesses in different ways. And today the macro factor we're going to talk about is the technological factors, the technology changes that happen in society overall that do have an impact on our business. And the thing is, it could be a direct impact. I mean, think about it. The development of 4, 5, 6G technology for phones directly impacts the mobile phone industry. But you know what? That 5G streaming services also affect things like the theater industry. Why? Well, indirectly, do I need to come to a theater and have to listen to 50 people talking while I watch a movie? Or can I throw on some Netflix on my phone? And so we see that there's technological changes will have differing effects, okay? And so it's really important that companies really look and see what technological changes are out there. How could they benefit us? How could they hurt us? Or at least you're kind of keeping track of what's going on. Because sometimes firms don't even realize that technology has changed and they get completely wiped out. If you're looking at things like counting, all right? If you think about it, if you were a little kid, you probably had an abacus. You know, it's like a line with the little things you move over one by one to count different stuff. You had that. And the abacus is what we had forever. And then they invented the slide rule. And what a slide rule is, if you wanted to know what 12 times 12 is, you'd move it 12 and over on the 12 line, and 12 times 12 is 144, and you would do that. And then technology changed and the calculator came out, right? And so then we had our little digital calculators. 12 times 12 is 444, and we were great. And the thing is, each one of those technological changes really kind of wiped out the previous industry, right? The abacus industry didn't do so well once we had the slide rule, and the slide rule got wiped out by the calculator. But now, what technological change has wiped out the calculator? It's not like they came out with a new version of the calculator. What they came up with was new software. Look on your phone. Your phone has a calculator right there. The whole industry got wiped out. What about the watch industry? Oh wait, I don't have a watch, but I always know what time it is because I use my phone. And so we start to see is, though some technological changes aren't necessarily directly our competitors, they might have a major impact for us in a positive way or in a negative way, okay? So if we look at how technology is used, for example, I'm a professor, hence Professor Walters, and I do teach face-to-face, and I go there and I'm in front of my class of a few hundred students talking away and blah, 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 and all kinds of stuff. I have that. But the thing is, technology is not necessarily stealing my job, but I can use it to help my students out, right? I can put videos like this online because maybe they fell asleep in class. It's an 8 a.m. class. I don't fault them for falling asleep, okay? Or maybe they're at a job interview and they can't be at class that day. I don't want them to miss out on that content, but having these online videos gives me a chance to give this information, the education I have, to my students when they can't be face-to-face. So it's helped improve my teaching. I remember when I was a student, when we would take notes, you had to write every word down, right? Now you can get a book that has all the slides in it, or maybe they're online. There's all kinds of things you can have to actually help you learn better. It doesn't change the content that I'm teaching, it just makes it easier for people to learn. So you'll see these things actually influencing business, okay? Other things you can look at is how technology has changed in terms of, you look at political campaigns, how they raise money. Instead of having to go to the big wigs to ask for millions of dollars and stuff like this, you can get small donations online. There's all kinds of little bit of technological change. If you can see those changes and take advantage of it, it can really help you out. So the thing is sometimes you do get big impact, like the Washington Theater behind me, the technological changes of, hey, we can project movies on much bigger screens now, we can put them in a whole amphitheaters just for movie theaters, really changed how these small theaters in America, in small towns, kind of died off. They couldn't compete with the new competition that used that new technology to have those big screens and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things you have to think about in terms of those macro changes. And the thing is, you can think of all kinds of different things. Think about how technological change in medicine would change things. Hey, we found a cure for cancer. Well, how does that affect our business? Well, in terms of our employees, I mean, do we have employees that might die of cancer? Now they're not going to die. Our customers, they're not going to die from cancer, so that helps out. But how could that influence our business? Healthcare is big business, right? So all of a sudden we have a cure for cancer. Well, what do we do with all those oncologists that now that there's no cancer anymore? I mean, these are things you kind of think about. Like, let's hope one day that is something we have to consider. We do find a cure for cancer, but it's just kind of one of those things you got to think about, because technological changes, I mean, all the things with the internet, think about how that influenced how changed shopping overall, and retail shopping, and research, and booking your vacations and stuff like that. From I need to go to a travel agent to now you can do it all on your own. I mean, you could go do a lot of research on waltersworld.com right now about different destinations. So you have things like that. So I just want to talk about that technological kind of macro factor to give you some ideas, because it does play a big impact, and you got to be making sure you're paying attention, because you never know when a technological change can totally revolutionize your business. All right, so I wish you all the best, and I'll say bye from here in Quincy, Illinois.